Welcome to another episode of the Lightspeed Investing Podcast. I'm so excited to have Sebastian from all the way from Florida here with us today. He is the founder at speakup.express, where he helps entrepreneurs get in front of more clients and audience through the power of speaking. Sebastian, how are you doing, man?
Doing fantastic. Thank you so much for having me on, man. It's an honor.
Yeah, and I'm super excited to bring Sebastian on because speaking is not the only thing that he does. The main thing that he got started in is that he is a fellow trader, specifically with stock options. And Sebastian, how young did you say you were when you first got into this game?
I started learning at 14, didn't really start doing much until I was about 16 with a custodial account. And I became a full-time trader when I was in my early 20s.
Wow, that's amazing, man. So let's kind of, for the audience listening in, like, let's start there. How did you even get exposed to trading? I mean, what was it serendipitous conversation with like a relative? I mean, because that 14, right? I mean, that's when I was 13, 14, I was like a freshman in high school.
Right. Right. Yeah. Well, for me, it was a very, very heavy shift that I had to make. I was really hungry from a very young age for solutions because I am the only child of an immigrant family who spent their life here looking for a solution, looking for the American dream, and only really finding debt and more debt
Mhm.
and more hours at work. So I didn't get to see my family too much. You can imagine as a kid, that's pretty devastating not being able to see the life that all the other kids around you are really living, right?
What kind
So
of work were you doing at that age?
I was, of
That's
course, in
like middle
school.
school.
Yeah, I was, of course, in school, but it was my parents that were working so many
Oh,
hours.
okay.
Didn't get
Oh,
to
I
see
see,
them.
I see.
Yeah, I was still in school, but I knew that I was never going to help them get out of that just by working a
Mm,
standard job. I knew that I
right.
needed to find other solutions, and I especially knew that I didn't want to walk the same path as them, and I definitely didn't want them walking that
Mm,
path either. So, through a lot of research, a lot of natural born curiosity, I ended up stumbling upon trading, and I knew for a fact that that was the way out. It was the first and best and most accessible way to finally multiply what we have on our hands today instead of having to work another job for my parents or something like that. It was
mhm.
the first glimpse into prosperity.
Yeah, no, that's huge. I'm sure you saw how hard they had to work, how I would say like unavailable they may
Right.
be during times that maybe you wanted them to be around, and they probably just told you, sorry, kiddo, gotta go to another job. What was that like for you, man, in terms of when you found trading? Now you weren't good at it like you are now, right? So,
No,
but like, how did
of
you
course not.
like so how did you know? How did you know you were like this is the thing as opposed to going this might be the thing?
Well, it kind of for me it was kind of born out of that same kind of hunger. Is I knew I needed a way out, and I knew it couldn't be time consuming. I knew I couldn't keep selling my time or their time. That's what a job is. It's just you're
Hmm.
selling your time. I knew that was never going to bring more success. So I just kept going. I just started learning about trading. I saw what other people like what, for example, you guys do in Lightspeed and some other investors that I had spoken to around that time. I saw what they were able to do, and I thought to myself, just like everything in life, if I dedicate myself to mastering this, it will forever change my life. It felt almost as if when I was a kid learning about investing, it felt as if I found a gold mine, but I just didn't have a pickaxe yet. I didn't have the tools to mine, and I was just waiting to sharpen my skills, waiting to find that tool, and just trying to really just maintain calmness, maintain my excitement, knowing that one day I was going to make it with trading.
And obviously with trading, the most ideal and lucrative times are when you have the most amount of participants, right? So if you're a kid in school, how were you able to make trading work? I mean, what avenues did you first start to explore? Did you try to do the aftermarket asset classes and financial instruments? Kind of curious how that panned out for you.
Right. Well, there was a lot of the time I would just trade from class. I wasn't the best student.
Oh my
I
God.
graduated with the minimum GPA possible,
Oh wow.
because again, I had a problem when I was younger, and it was the fact that
Hmm.
I was only and exclusively obsessed with a solution for my family now. Right.
Ah, I see.
So I'm in school and I'm like, dude, I'm learning math, I'm learning English, but this is not going to help us get out of debt. It's not going to help us finally own a home. It's not going to help us do anything. Right.
You're like, I want to make money now.
Pretty much. I had a lot of
Wow.
ambition,
Yeah.
and for better or for
Yeah.
worse, that led to me. I'd be in class, not really paying too much attention. Luckily, a lot of my it was not super intensive like learning. I was just in high school,
Were you
uh,
in the back of the classes most of the time?
always in the back row. Yeah,
Always in the back with your laptop?
yeah, and
Or did you
it was
trade
on
on
my phone. I had
did you
everything on
trade
my
on your
phone.
phone? Oh, okay. Okay.
Trading view was kind of my bread and butter back in the day.
I see.
And that's how I was able to at least start with like, paper trading, then moving into like actual money, the little money that I had. But that's kind of when I started seeing my first glimpse of success. And it also gave me my first taste of entrepreneurship, which I would later use to develop my first and second business with Stocks Uni and then speakup.express.
Yeah, I mean, it's an amazing platform of what you're building because now that you have been able to not only be successful in speaking, right, you can share with others what you've done to help them get in front of more people as well.
Of course, yeah. And like everything, even as a kid, when I started seeing that success with trading finally, and then I wanted to build my own platform as well, that's when I once again bumped into a lot of struggle because I realized, man, being an entrepreneur and being a business owner, whatever my dream was at its core, was so difficult. It's a completely different world than what anyone could have ever anticipated. You, for example, we're roughly the same age. The entrepreneurs that we grew up watching, they did not achieve success by ways that are possible today. It's a
Hmm.
completely different market. It's so competitive. There's such a lot, like nothing works anymore in the marketing world. Ads don't work as effectively as they once did, maybe not at all, even. I personally spent like $20,000 trying to get ads to work, never did, never got a single client from there. I was working through funnels. I was working through, one-on-ones, cold calls, everything. Nothing really seemed to work for my business, and it felt like my dream started to slip away from me, as a lot of people have probably felt at some point. Entrepreneurship today is a whole nother beast. And that was kind of when I got into public speaking. I kind of leaned into that talent, I leaned into that skill, and I began to leverage bigger and bigger stages, which helped me explode not only my business, but my dreams and my name, which put me in a position where in today's day and age, I can go wherever, speak about whatever, and always find success and prosperity, not just for myself, but for my family especially.
Yeah. So for the audience listening in, right, like in terms of timeline, how long were you just a peer trader for? And then like when did you make the transition of, becoming more business conscious and actually go from trading to being a trading business owner, right? To where you also have, your own products and services to offer. What was that timeline?
Right. Well, in my case, I was just a full-time trader for a pretty short amount of time. One thing I always wanted to do was be a business owner. And even though trading was lucrative and it was paying me pretty well, I always wanted to build something. I always wanted to build
Hmm.
something, system, something that can help not only establish me, but a legacy for my entire family, not just my parents, but my kids, and their kids as well someday.
Hmm.
Very important for me. So putting it that way, uh, from what was it? From when I was 20, I was a full-time trader till about 22 when I really leaned in and I realized I need to launch these businesses. I need to see success, right? I need to really get this off the ground, right? And that's when I kind of bumped into all those problems in the world of marketing. And then I leaned fully into public speaking. It was around that age.
Hmm. I see. And once you stepped into public speaking, w- how long did it take you to go, man, like, maybe I can help others do this as well?
Right. That's a really good question. So in my case, I was doing public speaking. It really took me, and it was incredible. It took me one event. Of course, it was a good event, good audience, uh, sizable. That's all that it really took for me to explode my business from being struggling five figures for a long time to suddenly breaking six figures plus. It was one solid event. That's all it was. And that
Hmm.
event, the beautiful part about it was it wasn't just one thing. it was the fact that when you're a public speaker, you are automatically doing networking and people are hearing you and they're inviting you to other stages. They're inviting you to speak here and there and here and there. And it is a snowball effect, especially for a purpose based entrepreneur that has a story that's deserving of a stage.
Hmm.
So it wasn't very long. It was maybe a couple months where I realized, like, man, I need to go all in on this. So I built an agency from scratch and I hired them to put me on other stages pretty much. I built my own agency and then I hired myself to put me on stages and I realized how successful I had become with them. They were booking me for more stages than I could possibly even attend at one point in the month of May. I was so booked I couldn't take everything. And I thought to myself, there are other people, other entrepreneurs that need to have their voices heard. They need to be
Hmm.
taught how to make their message, their purpose, and mission resonate with people. And that was the point where I knew that that was my next calling.
Yeah, dude. I mean, when you run into good problems and great problems subsequently with that kind of overflow, yeah, it's time to start thinking even bigger than you initially had, right? So look, coming from another country, being in I would say a young age, right, in a position where you recognize the need to create wealth for you and your family, to embarking on the journey of trading, then speaking, then running an agency. What is your next step in the sense of, trajectory and vision? What do you want to build and accomplish now at this point?
Right. I love that question because as an entrepreneur by nature, one thing that defines all of us is the next step. That's all
Hmm.
that matters at the end of the day is the next climb. So in my case, right here, what I'm really looking for, I've already put myself on the map. I've made it so that, you search up my name and I'm the only person that you see me in all the stages that I've spoken at and some others. I want to get as many speakers as possible to fly in that same light. I want to put names on the map. I want to empower the right people on the right stages. And what that really constitutes is I want to make some of the greatest leaders I possibly can. That includes not just coaching them on how to use their voice, but on how to better their product, how to better their delivery, and how to better find the places and the avenues and audiences to make sure that that resonates big time, right? So right now, my real focus is just that I want to get maybe right now, I want to get 20 A-list speakers under my belt. I want to make them leaders in their domain.
I love that, man. And what about the activities around trading? Is that something that you still see yourself doing, or is that going to wane a little bit as you build this speaking vision of yours?
Well, I'll always still be a trader. I love trading, and I've of course been trading with you guys a little bit, which has leveled me up quite a bit. Just following along with some of the stuff that you guys send out, it's literally free money. So there's not a real reason for me to stop trading. It's just 30 minutes out of my day, maybe, where I make
In the mornings,
some great money.
especially. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
super easy stuff. Especially since I already have a lot of background experience.
Yep.
Um, and of course my community of traders as well. I mean, it's relatively easy to maintain everything, especially with all the employees that I have running pretty much everything behind the scenes. No, there's really no reason to step away from it, but
Yeah.
I have definitely focused my own because again, as an entrepreneur, you can only be one place at a time. 90% of what you do is going to be delegating at some point. So my personal attention, my personal efforts are mostly being focused on the world of public speaking at the moment. Yes.
I love it. I love it. Now, let's say, right, we wipe the slate clean and you've got someone who, you can resonate with or they can resonate with you. They're looking to get into entrepreneurship, right? The two things that you have hung your biggest successes on are both trading and speaking, right?
Mhm.
What would you say to them, right? As a budding entrepreneur, emerging entrepreneur, they're thinking about looking into AI, right? Because AI is really hot right now.
Right.
I'm kind of curious, right? If they're listening in or they were to ask you, hey, Sebastian, I'm at the beginning of all of this. I'm trying to explore my options. Would you still recommend me trading and speaking, or what are your whole thoughts about the AI stuff?
Well, I would say, like, again, it's not where the money's at that matters. You can make money with anything. If I would have chosen instead of doing investing and trading, if I would have chosen to paint walls or mow lawns, whatever it is that you dedicate your mind to, you're going to be successful, right? You just have to fully go all into whatever you do. So I would tell an entrepreneur, is trading the way to go? If you're willing to dedicate to it, yes. Is speaking the way to go? Yes. However, I would always say one thing. There are two types of entrepreneurs. There are the profit based entrepreneurs that are after the money, and there's the purpose based entrepreneurs that are out for a mission. The difference between the two is the first kind of entrepreneurs are thinking, what can I take from people? Where the second are thinking, what can I provide? If you are a purpose-based entrepreneur looking to change something in the world, looking to change something in the game, it's so important that you know how to articulate that and you get in front of the right people that will join you, almost as if they're joining your army or your militia towards your
Hmm.
mission, towards your goal, on your war, to align with you. That's so important. You need to become a speaker. At the end of the day, it's the most important talent that any human has ever been able to develop, because we can't do very much on our own. But it's what we do when we have a team, when we have believers and followers, that really skyrockets us. So if you're an entrepreneur that's thinking, what can I put out into the world? What can I do? Which you always should be thinking. Uh, you have to know some of the greatest, most brilliant ideas, purposes, missions go to die simply because the owners of those ideas aren't able to articulate them. How do you expect people to, first and foremost, buy what you've got? And secondly, and more importantly, believe you if you can't even speak about it properly?
Yeah,
You
I love
can't
it,
get going.
man. I love it. Well, it sounds like we got our answers. Like no matter what you go after, make sure you're purpose-based and make sure you have the ability to speak about it, right? Regardless, I mean, if it's one to many, like even the one-on-one, I mean, salesmanship is regarded as a whole by billionaires of all industries to
Right.
be the starting place, right? The starting point of recommended skill sets to have in business. So listen, I thank you so much for being on here. I learned a lot. Your story's definitely inspiring. I don't know. Oh my God, 14. I was trying to get on the basketball team freshman year. And I did, but like I don't think I was as obsessed as you and your trading.
Well, I was always bad at all the sports I ever played, so maybe that maybe it was my only choice, you know?
Yeah, no, I mean when the back is against the wall, you have to do something and make something out of the situation, right? That's where diamonds get created from pressure. So pressure is a privilege, right? And but I think there's a lot of gold gems in here. I hope people listening can not, can really not only understand why you're doing what you're doing, but resonate with the importance of it all, and find strengths, skill sets that align well with your purpose and build that army so that you can share it with the world, and make the world a better place that way.
Right. Amen. Absolutely right. I couldn't agree more.
And so, listen, man, if the people listening, they want to get to know you more, they want to try to connect with you, is that possible? What is the best way, right? If someone wanted to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I like to speak with people directly. Again, I'm very purpose based and I want to put only the people with the most beautiful and powerful purposes out on the map. Whether they're new to the world of entrepreneurship or have already been in the game for some time, it doesn't matter to me. I don't care what level they're at. I simply care about how hungry they are to get out on stages and get their
Hmm.
message to resonate. So, speaking with people directly is important to me. And the easiest way to get to me and schedule a call is on my website, speakup.express. So instead of .com, it's .express. That's speakup.express. From there, you'll see all of my information, some of my clients, and pretty much the easiest ways to get out on some of those platforms.
Awesome, man. Well, there you have it. Speakup.express. That's where you can find Sebastian to talk about all things trading, right? Options trading specifically, and public speaking. And with that said, Sebastian, thank you so much for coming in here today, man. I hope you're enjoying the weather out in Florida, and I look forward to having you on and chatting some more again next time. Okay?
Absolutely. Thank you so much. It really has been an honor.
Awesome, man. Thanks so much. I'll talk to you later.